welcome to this episode of the Start, Build, Grow Show. We have an incredible guest as usual, and we're going to dive into like how to actually scale your business and completely, grow your business through YouTube. And we got my man Tracy Bookman here, who is quickly becoming one of the most well-known YouTube personalities in the roofing space. And we're going to interview him and talk about his story and talk about how you can leverage YouTube to grow your business in just a minute.
JobNimbus is a fully customizable back office solution.
Track leads, jobs, tasks from one easy-to-use software.
And with the largest ecosystem of integrated partners, if we don't do it, we have a friend who does.
Learn how the #1 back office system in roofing
Can help you be efficient, be organized, be professional, and be profitable.
Is your lead flow down? Whether you're a company owner, office staff, salesperson, or installer, you're a roofing rock star. We help you get more leads with custom SEO, Google Ads, and a pro website.
Look better leads.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Man, I'm excited about this one. Tracy, man, we've known each other a few years now, become good friends. Obviously, I follow you online on YouTube, and we're not too far apart. And I love what you're doing, man. I'm grateful to have you on the show. Welcome back, because I think we had you on a while back, didn't we?
Yeah, thanks for having me. I mean, it's like, I kind of consider this, it's really an honor because, we're just a pretty small roofing company, but working with YouTube, and YouTube has been a big deal for us.
It's kind of cool because
our YouTube channel has even benefited your roofing company. Maybe we can talk about that.
Yeah, let's do it. So in traditional fashion, man, on this show, what we want to do is, we love, this show is all about, it's the Start, Build, Grow show, man. It's about starting, building, growing roofing companies. And we love stories. We love like interviewing contractors. We can relate and understand their stories. So let's start there, my man. What did you do before roofing, and how did you get into roofing? And let's start there.
Yeah, probably not too dissimilar from a lot of guys. I worked in a different industry. I owned a business in a different industry before I got into roofing. And then the whole crash of 2008 to 2010 kind of destroyed that whole industry. Didn't wipe it out completely, but I was part of a B&I group with my other business. And there was a roofing company in there, and I started talking to them, and they invited me to come on as a salesman, basically a door-to-door canvasser and salesman. And so it just so happened, right? The timing of it was really good. It was actually a non-storm year that year in 2011, but the little town outside Colorado Springs where I lived close to had a lot of housing developments in it that were built back in the early 2000s, and they all had T-lock shingles on them. Well, I didn't know any different, right? It just was providential, I guess, probably for me. I just started knocking doors in those neighborhoods, and they all had T-lock shingles, so they're all obsolete. So the insurance companies started buying them left and right, and so sold a bunch of roofs just in my first few weeks. But, working for that company wasn't probably the greatest experience. I don't want to throw them under the bus or anything, but it wasn't really a good fit for me. But I worked for it for about 2 years, and then I decided I wanted to go to work for somebody else. I just needed to get away from. So I interviewed with the owner of a different roofing company here in the Colorado Springs area, and he asked me, "Well, what is it that you do for the roofing company that you work for now?" And so I told him, "Well, this and this and this and this and this." And he said, "Well, you're doing pretty much everything an owner would do. You should just start your own company." So I did. So March of 2013, I started my own company and So we've been going now for over
Yeah.
10 years.
There's always there's so many similarities, but also a little unique nuances to everyone I get to talk to on the show about how we got into the roofing company or how they got into the roofing industry or started their company. And so many of us,
Yeah.
have some sort of experience like that where, and again, it's hard not to be, to judge others, if you will. I don't believe that people intentionally try to be bad leaders or bad owners or rip people off or do those things. I think people get in over their heads and they don't understand how to be an entrepreneur, how to be a leader. They don't focus on growing in those areas, and they just operate off instinct, and they're reactive to whatever the environment, presents them. A business owner comes in and starts a business and hires a bunch of people and overcommits all these things that they're going to give you this, that, and the other, and overcommit just to get somebody in and get somebody working for them. And then they realize, oh crap, I can't afford that. I can't actually honor. I don't think they intend. I just want to believe in humanity, and that people they start off good and they end up bad, right? Instead of bad people just being bad people, right? I just believe that, and I choose to believe that. But I think they just don't understand what they don't understand. And
Yeah. Well, and I've been there, right?
Yeah.
That's part of all of our journeys is we don't know what we don't know when we get into it. And education's expensive, right? It costs a lot of money to learn those lessons.
Absolutely. And same here. But here's the thing. I think if you're learning from it, you're growing from it, and you own your mistakes, that's going to help you be a great leader and keep people involved in your organization, and not just set a precedent that everyone's just going to take off and leave. I mean, every roofing company, if you've been around long enough and you've made some of those mistakes that I've made and a lot of bigger companies have made, there's a lot of other companies that have been developed or started because of the mistakes or because of the lack of knowledge that I had or that you had or that someone else had as a business owner. And I think owning those, and here's my takeaway here, and I'm kind of off on a tangent here, but if you make a commitment to somebody, a salesperson, or you give some sort of a commission split or some sort of a deal, you make a commitment, honor that commitment. Even if you realize that maybe it wasn't the best financial arrangement for you, for them, whatever, honor that commitment and then go back and make adjustments as necessary. Yes, we got to make adjustments. We got to make sure we run a profitable business that can sustain cash flow and all those sort of things. But kicking someone to the curb and throwing them out or not owning, a commitment that you make as an owner is just, man, it's just doing so much more damage than we realize. Not only to that person, but to you, to your character, and to your own ability to recover and make better decisions. It's okay to make mistakes. We make mistakes. We make bad decisions, but we have to own that decision. As they say in golf, when you hit a really bad shot, they say, eat your lunch, right? Take your bite, eat your lunch, get back out in the fairway and try again, right? And then we need to do the same thing in business. Okay. So getting back, smaller company, and that's great. And you kind of, let's talk about that, because some people in the industry maybe aren't intentional about their why or their purpose or what their vision is for the company. And it is perfectly okay to build a business that creates a lifestyle of financial freedom, independence, without having to have 30 employees and chasing 10, 20, 30 million, all these numbers that people talk about in this, and they want this. And it's interesting because when I talk to people, coaching people or whatever, I'm like, what is your vision? Well, I'm going to do $10 million. Okay. Why do you want to do $10 million? Well, because that's the next thing, right? I mean, that's what you're supposed to do, is go for $10 million company. No, let's dig deeper and understand the why, and like why you do what you do and how do you get there. So I think you have some interesting things to say about that, my man. You have a very intentional business, and you've done a really great job. Your brand is impeccable, but you kind of do it in a unique way.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. I've been thinking through that a lot lately because I've been meeting with so many homeowners, and as I've been talking with them and trying to explain how my company works, I've come to realize, kind of like what you just alluded to, I don't want to be the roofer with signs in everybody's yard.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell homeowners, like, I want my sign in your yard. And maybe you refer me to your neighbor, and that's great. And quite honestly, I don't even put signs in people's yards, right? I'm just using that as an analogy. But yeah, I really don't, right? I'm not out there trying to get every house on the street. I want this one house because I want to be able to do a great job for this person, because that's going to allow me to do a great job for the person that they refer me to, and then the person that they refer me to. I mean, we're getting ready to do a house here probably next month. They've referred me. I don't even know how many people that they've referred me to. And this is kind of an interesting story. And I apologize if this is a digression, but I take my responsibility to a homeowner really, really seriously from the standpoint of, if I tell them that I think that they should file an insurance claim, it's because I really think that their insurance company is going to take care of them 100%. Yep. I had this house. It was a big, big house with a detached garage, total like 69 squares. And the insurance company came out and they did a partial on it. They only paid for half of it. Well, this was back in my naive days, and I didn't know about insurance appraisal and all the ways to fight that and stuff. And so I just swallowed hard, and I told the homeowner, it's like, okay, we'll take care of it. We'll take care of the whole roof. So I paid for the other half of the roof. They ended up, through that process, they upgraded to an impact resistant shingle. So I was able to recover some of that money. But they didn't even know what the implications of that was to me until 2 weeks ago when I sat down at their table. We're getting ready to do their roof again. And they said, yeah, the insurance company gave us a hassle last time, and they didn't, whatever. They knew something had gone wrong. And I said, yeah, and I paid for the other half of your roof. They're like, oh, you did? But that has translated into probably a few $100,000 for me. Plus, we get to do their roof again, which is a $45,000 job. So that's kind of what I want to focus on. To your point of, where I'm at with the size of my company and what it is that I'm trying to do. I love sitting at a table with a homeowner and just telling them, it's like, all right, let's dig in on your house so that I can focus on just you.
Man, I love that.
Did that even answer?
No, that's incredible. And I heard this from a good friend of mine the other day too. And it was something like, treat every single client, every customer like they're $100,000 customer or like $1 million customer.
Yeah.
And if you do that, another mentor of mine talks about elusive gain. The gain that you get from just serving and just pouring into and making that one client feel like they are your only client. Make that one client feel like they are $1 million client. Like taking that white glove approach can lead to incredible gains down the road. Psychological, personal gain, like you grow as a human being, as a leader. Oh, and by the way, you might get a bunch of other work out of it. But that's not why you did that. You did it because of your heart and you want to serve that customer. You took a $10,000, $20,000 hit.
Can I tell you?
Yes,
one more
I love
story?
this. Keep the stories going. You took a $10,000+ hit to serve a customer, not knowing what was going to come from it, and you got hundreds of thousands of dollars in business over the last couple of years because of that. I'm elaborating on that because someone listening to this is going to hear that and like have an incredible impact and realize that what you do now, the thing that you are doing now, you won't know what the reciprocating effect is going to be down the road. You just got to do it, follow your heart, and do things the right way for the right reasons. And, as a believer, like God's going to pay you back over and over down the road, but you don't know that now. You don't know the future. So just focus on what you can do and do it with the right heart.
Right. Well, that's exactly it, right? And it's like I said, if I tell a homeowner, yeah, you should file an insurance claim, my thought is that, boy, they better accept this as a total claim. Well, now, right, I know a little bit better, and I can tell the homeowner, well, we can go to insurance appraisal if we need to. But back then, right, I was just trying to treat them like I would want to be treated. If I'm the homeowner and a roofer tells me, yeah, file a claim, I don't want to have to come up with $12,000 out of pocket to pay for the other half of the roof when he should have told me that. But the other story I was going to tell you is back in 2014 when I was just trying to get on roofs. And so that winter I did a gutter cleaning special with Angie's List, $79 gutter cleaning. And I only got half of that, right? So I got like $39. But it got me on roofs so that I could look at a roof and say, oh, hey, by the way. So I got called by this homeowner who lives out in a little town out east of us. And he paid for the $79 gutter clean. I get out there. He doesn't have any trees anywhere near his house. There's nothing that's going to make his gutters dirty. And so I told him, I was like, you should just call Angie's List and get your money back because there's nothing I need to clean out of this gutter. Like, okay, so he did that. Well, the next year, that town got hit with a pretty good hailstorm. He didn't call any other roofers. He called me. Then he moved to a different house, and that house had a shingle that failed. And so we did a warranty claim with that shingle manufacturer. So now I've done 2 houses for him. Plus, he's referred me to three other paying clients from a $79 gutter cleaning that we didn't even end up doing.
You lost money on because of your time and fuel and whatever.
Right.
It's amazing. These sort of stories we can go all day about this stuff, but what it comes down to is like sticking to your core values and like working and operating with purpose. It's not about, and I love that about you, because it's not about, oh, I'm going to have 30 sales reps and do millions and millions of dollars. It's like, no, one person at a time. I'm going to give them an incredible experience, and I'm going to take care of them. And I'm creating, and I talk about this a lot with my team, and you've influenced as well, but you're creating customers for life. That's what it takes to create customers for life. And I think there's definitely something to be said. You mentioned this a little bit earlier about, we tend to be very conservative as well. There's a lot of companies out there that get on a roof and they see a blemish or a scratch, or one, they may just not have any training whatsoever. And they're like, oh, you should file a claim. And there's companies, huge companies that have hundreds of people, door knockers, and they literally are just, and there's owners even telling their people, tell everybody to file a claim because, the independent adjuster might go ahead and just pay for it anyways because they're getting paid too. Like, that is what's ruining this beautiful thing that we have as a roofing industry and hail claims and insurance process is being ruined.
Yeah,
it's being ruined because so many people are out there just throwing everything against the wall. One, lack of training. Okay, I don't want to just throw everybody on the bus. Some people just don't know any different because they don't have any training. Others are just unscrupulous, and they're people that are just greedy, saying, go get everything. But like, no, come on, be conservative. Let's protect what we have. We try to err on the side of, to the point where, the quick story, this happened just recently, even this year, where we've gone in, one of my reps have gone in and looked at a job and looked at a house and been like, you know what, there's not enough. I wouldn't file a claim. There's not enough on this house to file a claim. And a couple weeks go by, the homeowner's like, thank you for your honesty. This couple weeks go by, and they get another, door knocking rep or something that comes in and says, oh, you should file a claim. And they file a claim, and the insurance ends up buying it. But guess what? The insurance bought it, and guess who they called back? They called us, right? Not the door knocker, because they were like, well, they were honest with me. And sure, hey, I ended up filing a claim because I might be moving that, maybe the roof's old or whatever. That's not my place to tell them to do that. If a homeowner chooses to do that and they get a new roof, I'll roof the house, sure. But I'm not going to go out there and tell someone to file a claim when I truly believe that it's probably not warranted. And same thing, building relationships with real estate agents, insurance agents, and those sort of things. Being conservative and calling that agent, we almost get excited. Even though we don't make any money, we get excited when I can call an insurance agent and say, hey, thank you so much for that opportunity, for that lead I got that you gave me for Tracy Bookman. I went out there and I took a look at the roof. The roof's fine. We advised them not to file a claim. Thank you so much for the opportunity. We'd love to work with you again. What does that agent now do? They have utmost respect for you. They're going to call you back. The next person's going to come, right? And so many times now we're in a market where it's just hail is everywhere. We spent the last 4 years doing inspections with no damage, not filing claims, telling people no, or doing small repairs or whatever we can. Guess what? As soon as those storms happen, who are they calling? They're calling you. They're calling me because of that approach. Yeah. So we got to be playing the long game. Long story short, we really need to be playing the long game and making sure we're really customer focused and not self-focused.
Well, and I know we're going to get into it here in a little bit. But here's just a little bit of a teaser. But that's why YouTube dovetails with exactly what we're talking about so well, because it establishes you as that kind of person that people already feel like they have a rapport with you. They already feel like they have a relationship with you before you even show up at their door, before they even call your phone number. And that's why I love it.
Absolutely. Hey, and perfect segue. We're going to take a real quick break to give a shout out to our sponsors. As always, this show wouldn't be possible without the amazing sponsors and amazing people in the background producing this. So we'll be right back. All right, everybody, we are back and with hanging out with Tracy Bookman with Homestead Roofing, and he may be familiar because he's got a pretty good YouTube channel that many of you have seen, and a lot of people are emulating. And I can go to different events in different parts of the country, and people know who you are. They know your YouTube channel. You put out some amazing content, and we're going to dive into that. So what made you start in the first? Obviously, there's a big buzz around social media and YouTube and do the things, right? But you got that idea somehow, and I want to hear about that. And then you pressed into it, and you kept pressing into it, and all of a sudden, you kind of became a household name in the YouTube world of roofing.
Yeah. Even before I got into the roofing industry, I had seen this video. It may have been a TED Talk. I don't remember if it was a TED Talk or not, but it was that kind of style. And the guy was Jason Fried, I think is his name. And he had this company called, at the time, 37 Signals. And eventually sold that company. It became Basecamp, which I think is like Salesforce or something. But nonetheless, he built his whole business without any marketing. All he would do was he would give for free information, educational information to his target market. They were like software engineers or something like that. So he would write in trade journals, maybe blog posts, that kind of stuff. Because at the time, YouTube really wasn't that big. I mean, we're talking about 2012. But he just started giving away information. And so when I started my roofing company, I thought, I can do that. It's free, doesn't cost me any money. So the first two videos that I made, one was called, Does My T-Lock Shingle Roof Really Need to Be Replaced? And I'm on a T-Lock roof and show, okay, there's like one or two hail hits on this whole roof. Yeah, insurance company probably will replace the whole thing, but do you need to replace this roof at this time? And the conclusion was no. I almost immediately got a job from that video. Somebody had a T-Lock shingle roof. They called, they saw it, and they called, and we got a job out of it. Then another one that really took off, I don't know if I can remember the name of it. It was something about my bathroom vent or my bathroom exhaust leaking. Does that mean I have a roof leak? And I mean, cold weather comes, and if that exhaust fan is not vented out of the roof, it can start dripping water back down into the house. Well, that video kind of took off. So, but it took me a few years of just kind of arbitrarily throwing videos out there, not really knowing what I was doing. And then probably about 4 years ago, I decided, okay, I'm going to really focus on this, and started trying to get a video done every week at least. During hail season, I was hit and miss. And then I listened to a talk by Marcus Sheridan. I don't know if you've heard that name. He wrote a book called They Ask You Answer. And I heard him on, I think it was one of Dimitri's conferences or something. I just heard it on YouTube. And I thought, well, that's exactly what it is that I'm trying to do. Answer questions that people have. And so I just started really focusing on that, just laser focused every single week, publishing a video. And it's been a journey. It used to be that I wouldn't think it through very well. I'd be out for a walk in the morning and I'd be like, okay, take my phone and just film a video and throw it out there and pray that it works. But then I started becoming a lot more targeted, and I started realizing, okay, people have questions out there. I'm going to stop complaining about insurance companies and insurance adjusters, and I'm going to start answering the questions that people have, like, what color shingle should I put on my roof? How do I decide what color shingle I should put on my roof? What's the best shingle? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Those types of questions. Those videos are blowing up right now. It's not my best performing video anymore, but it was for a long time, and it still has a lot of traction out there. And it's called How to Compare Re-Roof Estimates. It's a 30-minute long video. And you would not believe how many people watch that video from start to finish, because it tells people, when you're talking to roofers, because you know just as well as I do, you go talk to a homeowner, they might get a quote from one roofer that's written in Xactimate. Then you might get a quote from a different roofer that's a lump sum contract or a lump sum estimate. Then you might get a quote from another roofer, Chuck in a truck. He just writes it down on a piece of paper and hands it to somebody. Well, how in the world is a homeowner supposed to compare those estimates to know which one is the best one? So this video gives them the information they need to build their own request for proposal, so that they can tell all the roofers, this is what I want on my roof. Quote this. So that way, when they get the quotes back from the roofers, they should all have the same scope of work. And then the homeowner can actually make a determination which is the better one. And the thing that is crazy about it, it's a 30-minute long video about how to tell roofers how to give them a quote. And it's one of my best performing videos out there.
It's just amazing how just answering consumer questions creates an incredible level of credibility. And obviously you're a credible guy, you're a good guy. You can just tell that, right? Just from your demeanor. And then now that you're putting out that sort of content, people are automatically going to be like, well, hey, this guy taught me how to XYZ this. I want to use him.
Yep.
And then that's how this whole concept has built into, between referrals and YouTube. I mean, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's pretty much your marketing, right?
Yep. Yeah. And I mean, what can get better than the fact that YouTube is totally free? It's totally free. And it takes a while to build it up. Okay. It's kind of like establishing a relationship with an insurance agent or a realtor that currently uses a different roofer. It takes a while. It's not an overnight thing, that's for sure. But so like we had a storm down here 7 weeks ago. Since that time, I've gotten 13 leads directly from YouTube. Now, Randy, don't let me forget, we need to talk about YouTube's effect on your Google search results. Because that's huge. But I've gotten 13 leads that have come directly from YouTube. These are people that have called and said, I saw your YouTube video. Out of those, we've got, I think, 3 or 4 that I still need to go look at their roofs, because we're scheduling like 2 or 3 weeks out. We've signed contracts with 3 of them. One of them was somebody up in your market that we sent your way, and you guys signed a contract for a $55,000 roof. That came from my YouTube efforts, right? And so the crazy thing about it, right? So that's a total of about $100,000 worth of roofing revenue that I didn't have to pay anything for. how much does each lead cost if you're using some sort of online source, whether it's Facebook marketing or YouTube marketing?
$300 to $500.
How much does
$300 to
the lead cost?
$500 on average to get a lead.
Yeah. Well, now let's flip that around. My YouTube channel has gained so much traction and it's so popular right now that it's monetized. So I get Google AdSense money from YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
So YouTube is paying me to market to people to sell them roofs. So it's I don't have to pay for the advertising. I get paid to advertise to people to get roofing jobs. How much more sweet does it get?
Well, and one of the things too is like knowing you, man, like, and right now, like you're just talking about it, you light up. You know what I mean? It's like it's become your spirit out. You just it's so much fun for you, right? And it probably wasn't at first. It was probably maybe a little bit awkward. And I remember the first time I remember the first time I went live, I was literally shaking. Like when Facebook Live was a thing, like maybe 10 years ago, 8 years ago, whatever. And I was like, I'm going to go live and put myself out there and create a personal brand. And I was like literally shaking, so nervous of like, what are people going to do? Is anybody going to watch? Are they going to make fun of me? Are they going to comment? What's going to happen? Oh, click that live button. And then, you know, now it's, you know, we're live all the time. We're doing different things all the time. And same thing with YouTube, same thing with, you know, we created, when I created my courses, right, the TRA courses, I mean, there's 200 hours of content in there now. And I remember, it was funny, my wife brought this up just the other day, how my first go at it, I had this cheap little camera and I was self-producing, and I literally just stapled a whiteboard to my wall, and I put a little camera up and got a little light, and I was like, pressing play and then running around and like jumping into in front of the camera and writing on the whiteboard my bullet points of what I was going to talk about. And I was so frustrated because I just couldn't get it right. I was like trying so hard to make this perfect video. And again, we worked at it and we practiced, and eventually I was able to earn a little, I was able to make a little investment into high quality production. And now we have highly produced, very, very quality stuff that out there. But I would have never got there if I didn't just take that plunge and just press play, press go, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, one of the guys that I listen to, he's kind of a coach that I use for YouTube. His saying is punch fear in the face, right? Just do it. Punch fear in the face, and press record, publish your video. And your first videos are going to be your worst videos. They're going to be awful. My first videos are awful. Probably my first 4 years of videos are terrible. I look back on them now and I'm just like, what was I thinking?
Yep.
But you just keep going. You just keep going. That snowball starts building up. And this year is when we're seeing the results of it. We've gotten leads from it kind of trickle in the past, but now we're getting so many calls from people from YouTube, which again, I'm going to give a little teaser for what's coming up here. YouTube is owned by Google. So any content you're putting out there on YouTube is helping drive your search result ranking in Google. And it's a no-lose situation. I cannot figure out why more contractors don't utilize YouTube. But I'm glad they don't.
Yeah, it's helping you, right? For those, and I'm well aware of that. We have a great SEO brand presence, but my YouTube, we have a YouTube for my personal YouTube. My Roofing Academy YouTube is probably our best one because this is being played on YouTube, right? We put YouTube Shorts and we do a lot there. So, and that's helped everything. Like that's kind of the biggest driver of my business. And then now with the roofing side of things, man, our consistency is off, but we've been intentional about creating specific videos that we know are going to help SEO. So we'll talk about that a little bit and how to, and as we kind of start to wrap up here a little bit, but you know, how do we make the correlation and connection to YouTube and Google and how do we leverage those two to get more organic ranking in both?
You've kind of touched on it, although I would kind of flip what you said, right? Because you said you're focusing on videos that you know are going to help you in the search rankings. Well, that's that's the good way to think about it, because that means you're doing your keyword research. And if you're doing keyword research, the keywords are being driven by what people are searching for. But if I could just flip it around, even though I totally agree with you, is do your research based on what it is that people want to know. And here's a great way to do it. Go out onto YouTube, and in the search bar, type roofing, and it'll give you a list. It'll give you a drop-down list of what people are searching for related to roofing. Then you write those down. Then you type in roofing A, and it'll give you a whole list of roofing and then all the words that start with A. And you write down a bunch of those ideas, and you just work through the whole alphabet. You'll come away from that with 100 ideas of what to make videos about that people are searching for on YouTube. And you can do the same thing on Google. Super powerful way. And the thing about it, that I think about is, while roofing company A is sending their canvassers out, knocking on doors, trying to get a homeowner to answer the door, who knows, but those homeowners are probably sitting in their living room watching me on YouTube, not answering the door when you're knocking on it.
Yep.
But they're watching me, and they're spending hours with me. They're inviting me to come over for dinner virtually. They're asking me questions and getting answers. So if I get into a home and the door knocker gets into a home, I've already got a relationship with these people.
Yep. And we don't even realize that. We don't think about that. So, and it's natural. We're naturally, as human beings, we're naturally selfish. We're naturally, we're instinctually always looking at ourselves and taking care of ourselves. We don't realize that the things that we say and the things that we do and the consistency and the stuff that we put out there, we don't realize the actual scope and the actual effect that has. This happens often, and it's just like, it gives me the tingles, because it's like, we just do that. I've been doing this show for almost 5 years now, right? You've been on here before. We've probably had well over 250 episodes, and we just do the show, and I don't pay attention. Maybe I probably should more, as far as like all the metrics. And my marketing team, they'll pay attention to the metrics and downloads and views and all the things. But when every so often, fairly frequently, I'll get on a call with somebody, or somebody listens to the show, and I don't promote a lot. I'm not trying to promote on here, but for those of you who have listened and want to talk, hey, reach out to me. There's going to be a link in the video. Reach out. Let's chat. Let's get on a 30-minute chat and see if it makes sense to see if there's ways that we can work together. I can help you out. I think that's kind of what we do. But when I get on a call with somebody and they're like, oh, well, I've watched all your YouTube or watched all your videos, I've listened to all the podcasts, or you've helped me so much with this area of the business, and man, so much. It's awesome. Because it's easy to get tied into like, well, did I get the same amount of views on this video as I did that video? To me, none of that matters. Yeah. If there's one person out there that's listening to this, that's inspired by your story, that's inspired by maybe something that I'm telling them, and they are inspired to take action, to then call and take action in hiring a coach or a consultant or joining one of our programs, that is what it's all about. One person. It takes one person. I think we get so wrapped up into the views and the likes and the dopamine that we get when we get the little like or the comment on our video or the comment on our social media post. None of that matters. If one person is impacted in a positive way by something that you put out and something that you say, it's all worth it, man. It's all worth it.
You said something that I totally agree with, right? That dopamine hit. When you see that comment show up on your video. Okay, there's a dark side to that too, because when you're putting yourself out there, so if you're a roofer, you're a contractor, and you're thinking about jumping into the YouTube space, which, good idea, but boy, you got to have thick skin, because my goodness, the trolls just come out of the woodwork. And when you're putting yourself in a position where you're explaining to a homeowner how things work, especially if insurance is involved, the insurance adjusters are going to jump all over your case. The roofers will jump all over your case. The insurance agents will jump all over your case. The do-it-yourself homeowners will jump all over your case. Oh man, it gets really ugly. But so you just got to be prepared for that. Yeah. I mean, it's, sometimes it's really funny. It's kind of
It is,
comical.
and I remember a long time in my first I put a little video out. I was doing like a roof inspection or something like that, and some troll just like blew me up for, I think I stepped in the valley or something, and he's blah blah blah. Don't do that because you're gonna ruin the valley of integrity. Blah, blah. I'm like, I get it, bro. Like, thanks, man. Appreciate the just blowing me up. I'm just trying to. That's not the point of the video. The point is all these other things I'm trying to teach on or whatever, and they'll find anything to kind of blow you up. And I don't understand what gets in someone's mind that they're like, you know what? I don't know this person whatsoever, but I'm going to do everything I can to ruin their day. Like, I don't get it. Why do trolls exist? They just do. And I don't. I try not to pay attention to it because I'm emotional. I want to be liked, right? I want people to get value out of what I'm saying,
right.
But I have to. Yes, the more you do this, that's a good point because you do got to have a little bit of thick skin and understand. Like, I mean, we just did a webinar earlier today actually, and it was, we're because of kind of what we do, right? Is we help contractors from that inception to the five. That's kind of like our niche, if you will, like from inception to 5 million. That's kind of our bread and butter, and that's what we're going to help contractors with. And we have plenty of contractors that are north of that, which is fine, but like that's the bread and butter of what we're able to do to help implement systems and processes to help you build a sustainable business in that area. And I get some troll. We're promoting the thing, and I get some troll like, well, I'm going to do $5 million by myself because of this HOA and this and this and this and this and this. I'm like, congratulations, tooting your own horn, my friend. I'm glad that you can read your own thing and make yourself feel better. But there's people out there that $1 million can be life changing to them if they can build $1 million business. There's people out there that have leveraged their entire life to start a roofing company, and they're nervous and they don't know what to do, and it has to work, and they want to get to $1 million or to $3 million. And they see a lot of value in the content we're putting out there. And then we got a troll like you bragging about you doing $5 million as a salesman by yourself. No offense, but no one wants to hire you. I don't want to work with you. And you're not doing anybody any good besides tooting your own horn, which tells me that you have insecurity issues yourself. So if you're listening to this, go to church. All right, my man. All right, let's wind this plane down. Let's go. I want a couple takeaways. Like, what is this? Let's have some fun. What's your best video? What's your best performing video right now?
Right now, it's a video called 3 shingles I would put on my house and 3 shingles that I would not. What I did not want to do is compete with Dimitri with his roofing guide every year. So I didn't want to create a video called "What's the best shingle?" or "The best shingle you could buy" or whatever like that, right? Because people put that in. Dimitri shows up. I know I can't compete with Dimitri because he's
great at what he does. Like, he's been on here. Like, I've been on his show. Like, hey, more power to him. He is the godfather of YouTube and roofing for sure.
But there's a big difference between, and I'm going to answer your question. I'm sorry, but this is a digression. But there's a big difference between the content that Dimitri produces now compared to what he produced 5 years ago or 7 years ago. Now he's focused on the roofer, right? I'm focused on the homeowner. I want homeowners to watch my content. I'm not focused on the roofer. And that's the big difference between Dimitri and me now. But Dimitri still produces excellent content. So I didn't want to put a video out there called, what's the best shingle? So I do a lot of studying on, how can I make the titles appeal to somebody's emotions? What's the best shingle? That's emotionless. But it creates curiosity when somebody sees a title from a roofer that says 3 shingles that I would put on my house and 3 shingles I would not. They're like, oh, I want to know about this. So it allowed me to kind of do an end run around the whole what's the best shingle. Plus, it also helped me avoid saying what I think the best shingle is.
Yeah.
Right? Because then I don't have to say that. I can just come out and say, well, I've got the Certainty Northgate on my house, so read into that what you will. But the video also allowed me to kind of slam the shingles that I just really don't like.
Yeah.
I won't get your channel in trouble by naming any of them.
There's a different audience, my man.
Yeah, well, everybody knows the T shingle that
Sure,
nobody wants
sure,
to
yeah.
install, right?
All right, my man. Best video. Again, look at what someone else is doing. Find a way to make it creative in your own world, and you can still have results. So that's okay. Don't be intimidated by the other big channels out there. Leverage that. That's good information. Yeah. Figure out what's their best performing video and recreate that in your own way, in your own terms, and everybody wins. Okay, so as we wind this thing down, in traditional fashion, you are an entrepreneur. You now have a monetized YouTube channel. You got a roofing company that's doing great things. I mean, your demand for Tracy Bookman to come to their house to sell them a roof is created a 3-week waiting list, right? And that's a comfortable place to be, and you're working through that, and that's great. But as experienced entrepreneur, give us your golden nugget. Give us the one piece of advice that you think that would be the biggest takeaway for all of us.
Well, I have to say that you would think that it would be intuitive and everybody gives lip service to it. But if you were in the homeowner's position, what would you want a roofer to tell you? So you call a roofer to inspect your house, and the roofer comes down off the roof, and whether he is going to tell you that you have a lot of damage or you don't have any damage, if this were your house, what would you want to do? I think that's the biggest takeaway. And I do think that a lot of people give lip service to that. Well, we all know the golden rule, do unto others what you would have them do unto you, right? We give lip service to that. But I think that's one of the things that will make a huge difference in how people perceive you. And if you don't mind me giving you just a little example, my daughter-in-law just had a baby on Mother's Day. She lives here in Colorado Springs, and they have a no soliciting sign on the door. And after the big storm in June, do you think the roofers paid attention to the no soliciting sign? No. So with a brand new baby, sleep is a premium for parents, right? So she just got the baby to sleep. She laid down for a nap herself. She'd been asleep for about 15 minutes. Then the doorbell starts ringing. Ring, ring. And it doesn't stop, right? It's just ring, 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 ring. So they were ringing the doorbell until somebody came to the door. So that story had a big impact on me, because I know roofers ignore the no soliciting signs. And I don't want to pick on just that example. But that's an example of, why don't you have the courtesy to treat somebody the way you would want to be treated? And we all know that there's guys out there that train roofers that say, if there's a no soliciting sign on the door, it means they have low sales resistance. So that's a house you definitely need to knock on. Because they've got a no soliciting sign, because they know they can't say no to you. Well, and then I had another mom who runs a daycare, and it was nap time. So she's got like 5 or 6 kids trying to nap, and the roofers are just constantly ringing her doorbell. That's what I mean. We give lip service to it. Oh yeah, do unto others. But no, I'm going to ring this doorbell until somebody answers, because I want to get on this roof.
That's so great, because you can take that to another, take that deep in a lot of ways, because as leaders, as entrepreneurs, as salespeople, try to put yourself in someone else's shoes. Stop thinking through your own eyes. Try to see things from someone else's perspective, and then take action, and you'll get better results. Tracy, it's awesome hanging out with you, man. YouTube channel. Where do I find you?
You can just do a search on YouTube for Homestead Roofing.
Homestead Roofing.
Probably the Homestead Roofing in New Jersey might show up, but more than likely will show up as the top result. I think if you do how to compare re-roof estimates, our video shows up as the top result. for that. But yeah, it's easy to find us on YouTube.
Love it.
I'm not big into Facebook. I don't do all the other social media stuff because YouTube is my bread and butter. Or you can go to homesteadroofingcolorado.com and just find us
Love
on
it.
our website.
Hey, man, great hanging out with you. Thank you so much for your time. I always love conversating with you, and we got a lot more. A little teaser. We got some more content. We're going to collaborate on some content coming up here pretty soon. I'm excited. So stay tuned for that. And join my YouTube channel as well at The Roofing Academy. You can connect with us all over the place. If you like this content, if you like this video, click the little like button. Let us know you liked it. Comment on it. Don't troll us. Comment on it. Let us know what you think. Questions. And if you find great value, share this out. And if you want to connect with either of us, feel free to reach out. I'd love to connect with you and jump on a free strategy call. Let's talk soon. Take care. God bless.